welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to go ahead and talk about the no glint snipers when it comes to Modern Warfare weapons. Because up until this point, the only no glint options were the Cold War weapons. Were broken for whatever reasons. I'm not sure if they're 100% broken, but I did want to test the Modern Warfare ones because someone gave me a heads up, said, hey, you know what? There's a couple optics that aren't showing any kind of glint. I've been killed. Here's a clip. Here's a clip. So I went through and I was looking at things and I went through and decided to test them. And there is a no glint option for pretty much all of the Modern Warfare sniper rifles. And I think there's a bunch of scenarios where this could be pretty broken, especially with guns like the Rytec. If you do enjoy the video, learn something new, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, just double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. So pretty much how it was working for glint when it comes to Cold War guns is pretty much all of these do not have a glint, except for the SUSAT had a glint and the default one had a glint. Besides that, none of the other optics had a glint. And that's broken too. It's just not the way it should be. Generally, the rule of thumb for most Modern Warfare weapons is if it's above a 4x multiple, then it should have glint. In reality, all these numbers are kind of phony. Even though it says a 4x, it's closer to a 6x. So in reality, the 4x Cold War one should have a glint, and everything more zoomed in than that should have a glint. But it just doesn't end up being the case. When it comes to Modern Warfare, I had to go through the various optics, whether it was the default causing it or what, and we'll go ahead and kind of look at some of the testing. If you want to test this yourself, you can even go into MW Multiplayer and see the same results for yourself. So pretty much for the proof of concept, I went into Plunder, I used individual weapons, I shot at people, but not actually hitting them so they can turn at me, kill me, and then I looked closely frame by frame at the kill cam so I could see if there was any kind of glint. We're going to go ahead and skip through these results, even though it took me a while to test this and figure it out. I wanted to make sure that it was working properly in not just multiplayer, but also in Warzone. And you can see right here, standard HDR, no optic. The default one that it comes with has a glint. If we go with the car, no optic, does not have a glint. Thermal HDR has a glint. We have the thermal dual power HDR. Doesn't look like it has a glint here, so I was thinking maybe it's bugging. We'll go ahead and keep going on that one. Variable car. Doesn't look like it has a glint. It does have the tac laser, so I took out the tac laser for a little bit of consistency so we can make sure that we're good to go. The sniper car doesn't look like it has a glint here, but I was thinking the green laser might maybe get involved with that, but it turns out that that one did have a glint. This one, variable HDR, doesn't look like it has a glint as I'm coming through. I had to remove the green laser so that we could actually see this. Here's the variable, pretty much point blank, no tac laser, so no green laser and no glint coming off of the variable HDR. We go to the variable car, no glint. We'll go ahead and keep going through, showing more results. We got the dual thermal HDR. Plain as day, there is a glint right in the middle of the screen there. We got the variable HDR. Doesn't look like there's a glint there, even when I went closer, back and forth. It doesn't ever look like we get a glint. We just see their tracer. So the glint would be right here, a little bit under where it says U. Kind of annoying that they have that in the kill cam because it makes it a little bit harder to see. Here's another one. I'm literally aiming down sight at this AUG abuser. They're still using the AUG, even though it gets nerfed 3 times. It tells you something about how well it was nerfed. This one was super easy. I lined up the shot, aiming down sight at him the whole time. He missed a bunch of shots and no glint. So we're going through, and these are guns that should definitely have a glint. Right here should have a glint, doesn't get a glint. And we continue on. SPR, same thing. You see the green tac laser, kind of hard because the sun's there, but there is no glint on that baby right there. And then we go ahead and come through and we get another one. This guy has iron sight AS Val, and I'm ADSing at him, getting no glint. And then I repeated this process in multiplayer so you can see the results there. So pretty much what I have here is a variable zoom Kar 98. You can see this gun has a glint right here in front of me. And that's kind of how that part works. So right here, what we're going to do is check out the standard Rytec. I wanted to go ahead and see if it worked on the Rytec as well. So we come through. I'm going to ADS. I'm going to get killed. So here's the normal Rytec. I'm aimed down sight. I end up having him kill me so we can watch the kill cam. The standard Rytec Nothing crazy. You can see a big old plain as day glint. And then I go ahead and put on the Rytec with the variable zoom. We go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. I'm doing the same thing. They have a variable zoom as well. That's why there's no glint. And then now we can see the kill cam this time around. Rytec, no glint. So pretty much that's the trick to get it done, is as long as you're equipping a variable zoom optic to a weapon, it will have no glint. And this creates a ton of issues, especially for a gun like the Rytec. Because if somebody wants to just be annoying, which I'm gonna, say, hey, be annoying, right? You can use these thermite or explosive rounds and just continue shooting at people and they will not see you. Obviously the gun's gonna be super slow to aim down sight, which is cool or whatever, but literally they won't know where you're shooting from if this is pretty far distance. And this works for pretty much all of the guns. Obviously you get the penalty of a little bit slower aim down sight, like I'm saying. Obviously Rytec's slower than others, but even on these other ones, it could be worth, especially if you want additional zoom. You got to get used to that optic, but overall, you equip the right reticle, it's going to look nice and clean, and they won't know where you're shooting from until they actually get a hit marker maybe, and then it'll show the little hit marker thing on their screen. So I want to go ahead and explain that because it's broken. It's just one of the other things that they broke with this most recent update. They broke a bunch of the actual perks here. I'm pretty sure focusing doesn't work. Presence of mind doesn't work. Fully loaded still works because I used that today. Sleight of hand does not work. FMJ does work. And that's pretty much it. I think frangible disabling still works as well, and frangible wounding. So there's kind of like messing up the game as they go, but stuff that should not be touched, right? Like the glint should just work. And I'm sure whatever's causing the issue here is the same issue that came with Cold War and half of those optics not having glint. So if you enjoyed the video, learned something new, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.